So, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Welcome back to this webinar series. In case you are joining us for the first time, this is the third webinar in a series organized by the Microinsurance Network, the ILO, and with the support of Generation Foundation. This series, it's all about sharing insights and lessons from leaders who are actively engaged in inclusive insurance, whether that's design products, shaping policies, or developing regulations, all with the goal of better serving those who remain unprotected. And the three organizations, the Microinsurance Network, the ILO, and the Generation Foundation, all share a common goal to catalyze the inclusive insurance ecosystem in multiple ways. So thank you once again for being here today. Today's session is titled Building Technical Capacity in Inclusive Insurance to Truly Design Relevant Products and Deep Understanding of the unique needs of the underserved communities is required. Before we dive in and introduce today's team and speakers, I'd like to introduce my co-host for this session, Lisa Morgan. Lisa is a technical specialist and actuary in the International Labour Organization Impact Insurance Facility, and she will say a quick words. So
Right,
go ahead.
Thank you so much, Sarah. So just a very warm welcome to everybody. Welcome to the third webinar in the series Learning from the Leaders, and we look forward to sharing from you today, sharing and hearing from you today. So that's just a quick hi from the ILO, and back to Sarah.
Perfect. So before we begin, we can go to the next slide. I just like to quickly share a few practical notes to help you get the most out of this session. So today's event is scheduled to last about 1 hour, including time for Q&A. You can choose your preferred language by clicking on the interpretation icon in the bottom of your screen. If you have any question, please submit them at any time using the Q&A feature. And yeah, the slides and recordings of today's presentation will be shared with you afterwards. So thank you again for being here. We are very excited to get started.
Sarah, I'm having some problems. The slides are not moving for some reason. I'm just going to... Sorry, do you see that? Are they moving on your side?
No, now I can see the...
Okay.
So try it again.
It's not moving on my side.
So let me...
Okay. Sorry, let me just shut them.
Maybe you can stop sharing, Lisa, and share again, because this might help.
Okay, let's do that. All right. This has never happened to me. Okay.
We tested before and it was working, but of course.
This is like a gremlin. All right. Let's try Tech 2. All right. No, it is still not playing ball. Okay. Maybe just carry on talking and I will close it and open it again.
So just, yeah, in the meantime, I can just quick look at the agenda. So we'll have three panelists sharing their experience and insights on how capacity building supports inclusive insurance. After that, we'll open the floor for a Q&A session, so please free to submit your questions at any time using the Q&A feature. So I just want to say that building capacity means strengthening the skills, systems, and knowledge of everyone involved, from insurers and distribution partners to regulators, NGOs, and even clients themselves. Without it, inclusive insurance initiative risk being inefficient, misunderstood, or unsustainable. To help us unpack this conversation, I would like to introduce our first guest. But I don't know, Lisa, I just want to double check with you. So
All right. Can you see it seems to be playing ball. Can you see the
It
slide?
yes.
works now, Lisa. Yeah.
Okay.
All good.
Perfect. Okay.
So perfect. So our first speaker is Camila Fonseca. Camila is an experienced knowledge management and capacity building specialist with a strong background in international affairs. She holds a master's degree in development economics and international development from the graduate. She has dedicated her career to strengthening knowledge sharing and building capacities that truly drive impact in the inclusive insurance space. So today she will share valuable insights from the International Labour Organization experience in this field. So Camila, over to you.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for the introduction, and thanks so much for having me today in this webinar, allowing me to share the experience of the ILO's Impact Insurance Facility. So Lisa, can you? Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. So we all know the challenge that we face with inclusive insurance. We know that there's a huge need for protection. So the world is becoming a riskier place. We have a lot of vulnerable people, but we still see that inclusive insurance models still face difficulties when it comes to reaching scale, being financially sustainable. And there are, of course, many reasons for that. We have insurers facing technical and operational barriers to serve vulnerable customers. We have distribution channels struggling to engage with clients. They might know how to sell their own products, but not necessarily insurance, as insurance is a different animal totally. We have the consumers that sometimes don't really understand what insurance is. And of course, what we see at the end of the day is that many consumers are just offered products that don't meet their needs, they don't fully understand, and that sometimes they don't really need. So what we do at the ILO, Lisa, please, next slide, based on the 15 years, more than 15 years actually, of experience that we have working with insurers, with distribution channels, and with governments, is that we try to tackle some of these challenges. And one of the ways that we do that is through a comprehensive capacity building program. So our capacity building program is based on three main pillars. We have training, communities of practice, and practical tools and guides. And our goal is really to build a sustainable model that creates lasting change and really equips people to and all the institutions with the right knowledge and the right skills that they need to design and launch successful inclusive insurance products. So the first pillar, as I said, of our program is training. That's really at the core of our capacity building program. Our trainings are delivered both globally and locally. I will talk about it a bit more in a minute. They are practice oriented, which means that once a participant attends one of the trainings, they leave the session with an action plan, which is something that they can do when they're back in their jobs to push that subject forward. And through this approach, we have trained hundreds of practitioners across Africa, Asia, and Latin America. So at the global level, our aim is really to create spaces for professionals in insurance, inclusive insurance, from different countries, different regions, to share experiences and to build solutions together. So for that, we have our flagship initiative, which is the Impact Insurance Academy. The Academy is a one-week program, face-to-face. It happens yearly in Turin, in Italy. And it brings together between 50 to 7 participants, stakeholders on the inclusive insurance space. And what makes the Academy really a unique and special program is that it is highly customizable. So as a participant, you can tailor your learning path depending on your specific interests. So, for example, if you're working in building a distribution strategy for your product, you can follow the distribution learning path, and then you can engage with others that are facing, similar challenges or that might have interesting solutions to give you. And during the academy, we also have peer exchange sessions. So that's where participants, they come together to try to solve the problems that they're facing. And through this network of people, they can advance in their purpose. Now we know that the academy is 1 week, it's face to face, not everyone has the time or the financial means to attend that. So we also offer online programs. We have what we call a very popular program that is the Insurance for Development, that also has a Spanish version that is Seguros para el Desarrollo. Those are 5-week programs, and they combine the self-paced modules with live sessions where participants, they can discuss, they can network, they can problem solve together. So those are our 2 global initiatives, but we also place a strong emphasis in local ownership. So making sure our programs are owned locally and that they're sustainable locally. And for that, we have our local training initiative. Next slide, Lisa, please. So for the local training initiative, what we do is that we partner with local insurance institutes from different countries. So those are the countries that we have current partnerships, those that you can see on the screen. And the idea is that in partnerships with those training institutes, insurance training institutes from different countries, we can ensure that our content is delivered locally, that they are adapted to the local reality. So we know that different countries have different regulations, have different culture, have different states of market development. So through that, we make sure that all the content is adapted to the local reality, and that on a constant, yearly basis, the training institutes, they offer this content regularly to the market, making sure that whoever needs to build capacity in inclusive insurance topics, they can attend these modules, these trainings, and they can build this capacity. So these institutions that I talked about, these training institutes, they use our modular curriculum. So we have a modular approach to trainings. We have the core modules. Those are, really modules that cover the basics. So the basic concepts of inclusive insurance, how to get inputs from customers, the different business models, and so on. We have the product-specific modules. Those are more focused on specific product lines. So health, index, agriculture, insurance for MSMEs. And we also have the process-related modules that focus on things like pricing claims, promoting, educating customers, handling distribution, and so on. On this slide, you can see all the different modules that we have. So I won't really go through all of them in details, but I guess you're going to receive the slides later, and you can click on the hyperlinks and read more about each module if that interests you. And then, as I said, our approach has 3 pillars. First being training, which we already talked about, but we also have the communities of practice. So that's our second pillar. And the communities of practice, the COPs as we call it, they are spaces where people with similar objectives, they can exchange experiences and also co-develop solutions. Usually the COP, they're a bit more, you need a stronger commitment to participate. So everyone who joins, they really need to have an objective that they want to achieve towards the end of the COP. And we support them through different activities. We have learning journeys, we have peer exchange sessions, we have coaching and all that. So we have currently 2 COPs that are active. First one is in partnership with the IFC, focusing on women's insurance, and the other one with the Microinsurance Network, focusing on inclusive insurance. So that's also another way we use to build capacity in this space. And here you have some success stories from institutions that have participated in our COPs. But in the interest of time, I won't really go through that in details, but you can, of course, read that once you receive the slides. And the last pillar of our capacity building work is through tools and guides. So we produce a wide range of practical tools and guides to help insurance practitioners in their day-to-day work. Those are only a few examples of what we have. We have pricing, managing partnerships, how to conduct a client value assessment, feasibility study. So those are really practical and very hands-on guides to help practitioners that are in need of capacity building in those topics, but that not necessarily can attend the training or participate in a COP. But of course, we are not the only ones doing capacity building in inclusive insurance. We have a lot of different stakeholders working in this space, and I also wanted to flag them. I guess it's important for us to know where the people working in this space, and we all complement each other, right? We're all working towards the same goals. So we have Microinsurance Master, which is a great partner of ours, the Access to Insurance Initiative, Frankfurt School, Microinsurance Academy, and so on. So those are also, you can explore them in details once you have the time after the webinar. If any of the topics, I know it was a very quick explanation of what we do here at the ILO, but I'm limited by the host in terms of time. But if you're interested, in partnering with us to bring this program to your country, or if you're interested in attending a training, maybe you can always reach out to us via email, follow our LinkedIn, and sign up to our newsletter, because then you can receive those updates as soon as they take place. Thanks so much. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have after.
So thank you so much, Camila, for sharing those valuable insights from the ILO works, and of course for highlight how knowledge and capacity building can strengthen inclusive insurance efforts. Building on that, I'm very pleased to introduce our next speaker, who will bring a national perspective on how these principles translate into practice within the insurance sector in Latin America. Mavir, thank you so much for joining us. Just to give you a context, Mavir Valderrama is an economist with a master's degree and extensive leadership experience managing multidisciplinary, high-performing teams. Mavir has a strong background across insurance, agribusiness, and telecommunications, with an emphasis on regulatory frameworks and the digital economy. With over 50 years of professional experience, Mavir has held strategic roles that involve high-level interaction with both public and private institutions and develop expertise in sustainable development strategy, public policy, and regulatory tools. So, Mavir, thank you so much, and the floor is yours.
Sara, thank you so much. Thank you too for having me in this webinar. I'm going to switch to Spanish in order to be so accurate in my messages.
What we are doing from the FASECOLDA, Colombian Insurance Federation, is strengthening the capacities of the insurance sector, and this is particularly so to be able to reach out to these underserved areas. And this is because we only close with 3.3% of penetration. And this is the average in Latin America and the Caribbean, but we are far from the world average, which is around 7%. And something I want to highlight is that only 2% corresponds to microinsurance. So here we have a big challenge, which is precisely being able to bring protection to the economic activities or the sectors that are still not protected. Now, having this panorama, this overview insight, FASECOLDA, with the program of the United Nations for Development and a third institution, we generated a great alliance. The objective is generating better financial position. Here, I want to show you two of the big components of this alliance. The first one is what we call exploration and best practices, good practices. The objective is, as the name suggests, strengthening the capacities of the insurance sector by strengthening the capacities with workshops, seminars, etc. These are designed together with insurance companies. We have highlighted the interests of the companies that are working with insurance, more specifically with inclusive insurance, user-centered models, anything that has to do with customer care, and parametric insurance. And I want to tell you about parametric insurance that next week on June the 25th in Bogota, we're going to be developing a seminar. The name is Parametric Insurance, an Open Horizon. This allows us to think of this is within the framework of the development framework. And this is for something different from agribusiness insurance. This was open to all kinds of insurance. This is open. There will be experts participating, sharing this type of solutions. Micro, Willis Towers, Jackson, also Zurich. You will not only be able to see which are the advances in parametric insurance in the world and in our region, but you will also be able to see which are the opportunities and challenges for parametric insurance in the face of natural risks. Then I want to tell you about insurance mapping. We built the first biggest inventory of insurance. We gathered all the available insurance that there were in the different websites in our country. The objective was to characterize insurance that were aimed at youth, women, seniors, rural communities, indigenous communities, among others. And then I want to tell you about the second component, which is support for the industry. The objective of this one is launching the development of innovation challenges. These are mechanisms through which we aim at companies looking at underserved populations or segments, and then for them to find allies in the fintech or insurtech areas to finally develop insurances that will, or insurance products that will cater for their needs. Then in the next slide, I want to show you the three biggest challenges. Next slide, please. I want to talk to you about the three biggest challenges that we have developed up to date. The first one, we had this challenge of tourism insurance. This idea was to develop accessible or affordable insurance products for the tourism industry. We were able to reach out to over 18,000 units in Colombia. Then the second challenge was strategic ecosystems and also sustainable investments, considering biodiversity. The third one, we consider it for experts, and the objective was to develop solutions for small convenience stores. In Colombia, their names are stores. And the objective is providing them solutions that would not only consider access to credit, but also access to insurance. These products were developed in 6 big stages, the ones that you can see in this slide. So what did we do from the methodological approach? First of all, we called for all the different stakeholders, not only within the insurance network chain, but also from the social environment. Then we did what we call the characterization of segments or interest areas. We developed maps of alternative ways and a repertoire of the information so that we could understand which are the needs and which are the teams that could work in problem solving or challenge solving. Then we also have the collaboration of experts for pilot products. We developed webinars like this one with the objective of giving it context and providing technical support for those teams that were participating in these 3 challenges. Finally, these solutions were assessed by an expert panel. And then the ones with the best characteristics, with the most promising characteristics, were given financial and technical support so that those prototypes could become actual products that were launched in the market. All this was done through quick methodologies and co-creation spaces. You can see in the next slide different information regarding the winning products for each of these challenges. In the interest of time, I'm not going to go into detail for each of one, but they're there. And I want to close with 3 main messages. The first one, increasing penetration in microinsurance is not only a financial or technical objective for the insurance sector. Actually, the most important thing is the materialization of the insurance, which is contributing to equity and resilience for our economy and for our society. And then, second, I want to say that insurance innovation has to start from an informed decision, knowing the sector, not basically from standard products or not necessarily from standard products. And the third message, we are developing measurable and feasible solutions in collaboration with the national government. This has the aim of providing opportunities, and with some institutions like, for instance, the United Nations Development Program, so that we can develop this. And having said this, I'm open to answering any questions.
Thank you so much, Mavir. Your presentation is clearly highlight how starting with a proper needs assessment is key to understanding gaps and addressing them. So, building on that, it's now a pleasure to introduce our next speaker who brings the insurer's perspective on how capacity building and customer center innovation translate these insights into practice. So, Aileen Kirui currently serves as a business development lead for inclusive insurance at APA Microinsurance. She has over 8 years of experience in specialized training and driving insurance and microinsurance innovation. Her background in business administration and strategy management has supported her mission to create meaningful impact for customers in Kenya and underserved communities. Through ongoing engagement and a passion for customer-centered solution, Aileen helps design inclusive insurance products that are accessible, relevant, and truly add value. So, Aileen, we are excited to hear from you, and over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Sarah, for that introduction, and thank you to the ILO and the Microinsurance Network for this opportunity. If you can just move on to the next slide. So I'm going to introduce who we are as an institution, that's AP Insurance. AP Insurance is the flagship company of Apollo Group, which has several subsidiaries in the group. We offer diversified financial. We are a diversified financial provider whose presence is strongly in East Africa. We offer risk and financial solutions to both corporates and individuals, ranging from general insurance, health, life, microinsurance, and also an investment arm that handles asset management. And as part of the regulation here in Kenya, if you have an interest to underwrite microinsurance, you need to form a separate entity with a framework guided by the regulator. So for APA Insurance, it's a new APA Microinsurance. It's a new subsidiary in the Apollo Group. We offer general, 3 lines of business. That's general, life, and health. And under the general insurance, that's where we have our agriculture, which hosts our crop and livestock solutions. Since inception, we had from 542, we've grown over from 542 farmers to over 3 million beneficiaries to date. And if you were to convert that in terms of premiums, or rather GWP, in the Apollo Group, we're still small, so we form 4% of the Apollo Group's GWP. So this is our structure, just generally how our structure looks like. We have our shareholders, Swiss Re, Kenmark, and Holland, who joined us last year. Yes, that's as of last year. Then we have AP Insurance in Uganda, Apollo Asset that I talked about that handles the investments. Then Gordon Courts, which is in charge of all our property management. And then AP Life that does both life and pension, targeting both group or rather corporates and individuals. Then APA Microinsurance, our new baby in the group. And then AP Insurance. I would say new baby, but we've been underwriting microinsurance for the longest time. And then in Tanzania, we have an associate, or rather an affiliate, called Reliance Tanzania. Then for today's topic, if you can go to the next slide. So what we intend to cover today are 3 major topics. That's what motivated AP Insurance to enter into the inclusive insurance space, our internal efforts taken to build the technical skills needed to offer those insurance products, and the benefits that we gained along the way, and then the challenges that we also faced along the way. So if we can start off with the motivations. Next slide. So our first motivation was we had an opportunity. Our motivation to enter into microinsurance started back in 2010. That's 2010, with a pilot of a crop insurance cover specifically for smallholder farmers. The product was a weather index-based insurance cover. And then later on, we joined another pilot by ILRI, which is also here locally in Kenya, that was piloting a pastoralist cover as an insurer. So while piloting these 2 covers, we then discovered that we could extend other non-agriculture insurance covers because we identified a gap amongst the farmers and also the pastoralists that we were developing those 2 solutions for. Then our second motivation was there was a strong commitment to enter into the financial inclusion and also be part of the social impact. We recognize that a significant portion of the population, particularly low income and informal sector workers, remained uninsured and vulnerable to life's uncertainty. This presented an opportunity for us to serve this underserved market, and also for the group strategy to diversify our portfolio by reaching new segments. Then as we continue to engage the customers, we realized there were ever-changing needs for these customers. Then we decided to develop more solutions for them. And as low and underserved communities, they keep facing different kind of risk that change from time to time. So the need to keep developing and redesigning our solutions was also what kept us motivated. Then the other reason why we continue to do this was strong, or rather strategic partnerships. And these partnerships was with development agencies, also the government of Kenya, who really came in and supported us along the way, and also other stakeholders and non-governmental organizations, the NGOs, and also other insurers who played a very big role in terms of market expansion. The investment that they gave was very strategic because it allowed us to enter into long-term market expansions, and allowed us more time to have deeper community engagement, which later on translated to trust amongst the community members, because now they're starting to believe in insurance. Then the last point is on regulatory support. Our regulator here in Kenya, of course, has played a key role in promoting the growth of inclusive insurance. They've offered a microinsurance framework, and they create an enabling environment for innovation, compliance, and also sustainable microinsurance, because microinsurance has very distinguishing features. Then if you can go to the next slide on internal efforts. So I'm going to just speak briefly on some of the internal efforts we have taken here in APA to build the technical skills that are needed to offer this type of products. The first one is active involvement and engagement in forums and trainings. The company has been keen to actively allow the microinsurance team to participate and engage in inclusive insurance programs, training, conferences, workshops, among many others. And I believe we are one of the beneficiaries of Microinsurance Masters. We are also part of the Microinsurance Network. We've also enrolled in quite a number of ILO programs, and also the pre-academy webinars, among many others. Then the second one is also institutional culture. The company ensures continuous engagement of staff through participation in AP Academy. This is in-house, where we have peer-to-peer learning. We also sensitize, or rather make it aware during the induction of new employees that there's this segment in the organization, or rather the company in the organization, called microinsurance, and we just try to sensitize them to what exactly it entails, because it's a new and emerging thing in the market. So this approach has helped us to embed a strong foundation of knowledge and reinforce a culture of continuous learning and development, especially through the AP Academy trainings. Then internally as well, we do have product champions. Ideally, the product champions, the company has identified and empowered a product champion for each product line within the microinsurance team to drive product knowledge, to promote ownership, and also just the peer-to-peer learning that I was talking about. So these champions serve as key contact points to support implementation efforts should we have product redesign, or we want to scale, or we want to reach out to new markets. Then collaborating with global and local partners has also been part of our internal efforts here at APM. Our technical capacity has been enhanced, I would say, by global, or rather through the collaboration with the global partners, with the like of IFC, SCBF, FSD, among many others, because the vast experience and also the exposure that they have globally has provided valuable insights. They also have other case studies to share with us. And when we are going through the product design, the trainings, the knowledge exchange, of course, the team is also learning along the way. Then on innovation and agility, the team here in APA have that capacity to experiment with new ideas. We do pilot our microinsurance solutions, and we constantly have to get market feedback, or rather, as we engage with the customers on the ground, we do get feedback from them and are able to, we are flexible enough to make those changes, to alter them to better suit the needs of the customer. Then the last item on the internal efforts are people, processes, and systems. Of course, you have to balance all the three, because the systems can work for you, but micro being high touch and also high tech at the same time, you still need people on the ground to have that face-to-face interaction with the customers. So a balance of the three is also good, because microinsurance really ideally focuses more on the people than the other two. So if you can go to the next slide, I'll talk about the benefits that we have experienced. Back in the day, APA had an ILO fellow who came in strongly to support on the agriculture business. And some of the benefits we, as APA, benefited out of it was expansion into untapped markets. We used to only insure a very few regions in the country, but when we realized that there's potential to expand and to grow, the ILO fellow really helped us on that, and we were able to expand to other regions. Right now, we grew from 3 counties. At the moment, we are insuring about 37 thereabout counties in Kenya. Then we were able to also redesign and revamp our products and solutions, and also introduce new non-agriculture solutions through the ILO fellow, because we identified some of the gaps that we had not foreseen. Then in terms of also data analysis, with our skills and expertise in that sector, they were able to better analyze the data so that as we engage our actuarial team, we are able to design better for the customers. Then introduction of an aspect called TOT, that's trainers who we really relied on, especially in terms of distribution for agriculture. Then streamlined operations, that's more on back office. We were able to have properly streamlined processes in terms of finance, actuarial reinsurance, and the likes internally. Then, of course, the networks that he came with were very good. So we were able to gain more insights globally, not just within Kenya. Then, apart from the ILO fellow, the other benefits that the microinsurance team here in PA have undergone through other programs that ILO offer, one of them being the parametric insurance, where they were able to go through the product design. Then there's also Impact Insurance Academy, where you're taught how to create and measure value for your customers. They also shared with us some learning tools and different distribution models. Then in-house, what we do have is a structure for microinsurance. However, not there are some shared resources which has really helped the company to save on some costs. So some of the shared resources that we work really close with is the reinsurance, the actuarial, the finance team, the marketing team, ICT and digital, the health and life as well. So for reinsurance, of course, it's more on reinsurance arrangements and treaties with, especially for the agriculture business. Then actuarial in terms of pricing, if you can see one of the photos, we are able to involve them in the focus group discussion so that they get hands-on feedback on the ground from what the customers are seeing. So this really helps them to better design the solutions for the end user. So for the marketing, we are able to give out some merchandise during claims payout and a dummy check. So you can see they're called lessons here in Kenya. I'm trying to recall a word that we use globally, but yes. Then for ICT and digital, we were able to come up with some USSD because, of course, the customers we engage with on a daily, some still use feature phones. They are not yet that tech savvy, so they don't have the smartphones. So we're just trying to figure out which is the best way to enable the onboarding process for them. Then for health and life, because we have been underwriting a lot of health and life business, so they help us in terms of designing micro health and micro life solutions. Then other shared resources, which of course are important, the human resource, audit, risk and compliance, customer service, that are shared resources here in APA, who we still work with, but not as strongly as the ones I've listed. Then if you were to go to the next slide, we'll talk about the challenges we face.
Thanks, Eileen.
Yes, so this...
Can you, just to say, you've got 1 minute left so that we have some time for Q&A. Thanks.
Oh, okay, sure. So some of the challenges we faced along the way was limited internal expertise at the beginning. Like I said, we were not that specialized, so there was a gap in specialized knowledge around inclusive insurance. Then the other point is on lack of quality data. we had insufficient data on the risk profiles and behaviors of the low-income customers. Then there was also an issue on customer awareness and trust gaps. There were many potential clients, but because they had little to no experience with insurance, in some pilot areas it was a bit difficult to even process claims or just understand. And some even thought that because they didn't have a claim, they would expect a refund for their money. Then another challenge was on distribution and access. Reaching customers in hard to access regions like the pastoralist, of course, we would not find them here in the urban areas. The more the rural areas was also a challenge, and the costs were high. Then the technology and the digital transformation gap when it comes to onboarding and claims payout, we had to partner with mobile money platforms to enable that claim payout. Then balancing affordability and insurance and sustainability, of course, for every microinsurance company, the core, or rather the main challenge has been striking that balance. So that was also another challenge for us. And then the last 2 points is on changing customer needs, the ever-changing customer needs, like I mentioned. So the amount of the cost that we had to incur in terms of constantly going to engage them was also very high, but nevertheless we still were able to redesign and offer such solutions for them. Then the last point is on dependency on external partners. While partnerships and global agencies and aggregators in general provide critical and technical support, in some projects, the timelines and priorities were more donor-driven than market-driven. So converting this customer to a micro customer sometimes would take long. So the timelines were not aligned. Nevertheless, we do strongly appreciate the role and see the importance of such partners and aggregators in the microinsurance space. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eileen. It has been really interesting to hear these three complementary perspectives. Just to stay on time, I like to move direct to a Q&A session, and for that, I will hand over to my colleague Lisa. So, Lisa, over to you.
Right, thank you so much, Sarah, and a big thank you to the speakers for three fantastic presentations. So if you have any questions, hopefully you will have seen that you can type these into the Q&A. I'm going to jump straight into the questions. So Meba, there's one, the first one is for you. Thank you to the speakers for answering some of the questions already. So Meba, the question is from Gabriela Costa. She says, I would like to ask Meba, how do they deliver financial education to their customers as mentioned in the slides? So Meba, over to you.
Thank you so much. Esta solución de seguro que dice utilizar herramientas de educación financiera es una que participó en el reto para atenderos. Lo que hizo este equipo ganador fue considerar la oferta que tiene el programa gremial de educación financiera que desarrolla Fase Colda. Este programa se llama Viva Seguro. Y Viva Seguro cuenta con una amplia gama de herramientas, materiales, experiencias que buscan el cambio de comportamiento. Así que lo que está haciendo este equipo ganador con su producto es aprovechar una infraestructura sectorial que ya existe desde el programa de educación financiera de Fase Colda. Este programa de educación financiera tiene una página web, tiene cartillas explicativas de los distintos tipos de seguros, videos que también explican los productos de seguros, y tenemos unas herramientas de cambio de comportamiento que lo que buscan es que las personas no solamente aprendan sobre qué son los seguros y cómo se usan, sino sobre todo que tomen mejores decisiones para gestionar los riesgos. Entonces, en la página web de Viva Seguro, www.vivaseguro Fase Colda, pueden encontrar toda la información sobre el programa de educación financiera del sector asegurador colombiano.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Meba. Lots going on in Colombia. All right. So just to make sure that all of our speakers have a chance at answering a question, I'm going to ask the next question to Camilla. So Camilla, how do you ensure the knowledge and skills gained during your trainings turn into tangible actions that lead to development and enhancement of inclusive insurance products?
Hi, Lisa. Thanks for the question. I think I touched upon this point a bit during the presentation, but what we do is that our trainings are really practice oriented. So this means that each training session includes an action plan, and the training participants, they're really guided to concrete steps that they can implement in their organizations when they come back to their jobs. So that each thing that they learn during the training, they can actually implement back uh, and enhance their product later on. And of course, we also have the post-training. We call it a follow-up, which is we just touch base with the participants 3 months down the line after they've attended a program to see how they're doing in the priorities that they have set up for themselves during the training with the help of the action plan. So those are the two ways that we found to make sure that our trainees have some concrete results. But we're also exploring some other alternatives. For example, instead of just offering single trainings, rather packaging the entire content that we have as a one certification. So that would be a longer program. Instead of someone coming just for one specific training, they would come for several trainings, and after each they would need to conduct some homework that is something practical that they would need to implement in the organization. So that's something we're exploring currently to see if it can improve the success of our trainings.
Brilliant. Thank you, Camilla. So Maxi, I see you've asked a question, Maxi Silva. I don't know who you would like to ask this question to. So maybe if you just quickly put in the chat who this question was for. And in the meantime, I'll just read it to you. So do products contain additional benefits outside the insurance industry to enhance value creation for the end customer? Sometimes the value assigned to insurance by vulnerable segments remains a real challenge, except when embedded. So I'm guessing APA. Yes, I was going to say that sounds like a question for Eileen. So we're lucky on this webinar to have both the perspectives of an insurance association and an insurer. So Eileen, would you like to answer that question? Eileen, are you there? There you are.
Yes, sorry. So the question was, do products contain additional benefits outside the insurance industry to enhance value creation for the end customer?
Yes.
Okay, so I think sometimes you have to embed some of those solutions to the main insurance that you're offering to the customer. So depending on the reinsurance arrangements that you have, if as an organization, if you're able to negotiate better, then you can of course have those additional benefits as either a rider or a bundle to the main insurance cover. I hope I've managed to answer that.
Thanks. Yeah, I think also, thinking about the value-added services would maybe also be part of that answer. All right, we have another question from Damas. What should be the focus areas when one plans to introduce a successful microinsurance insurer based on your APA experience, especially if a company has been operating under traditional insurance space? Okay, so focus areas. What do you think, Eileen? Do you have an opinion on this question?
Okay, sure. So to succeed in that, I think having a dedicated resource within the organization is very critical. So you can still have them as shared, yes, but let's one of them be very dedicated towards microinsurance. So that would be my response to that.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. So as we have 3 minutes left, and I'm really conscious that we want to stick to time, I'm going to say thank you very much for asking some questions. If there are extra ones that haven't been answered, then I'm going to ask the speakers to just look in the Q&A or the chat to see if I've missed anything, and maybe just answer them while I say the few final closing remarks. So in closing, just a big thank you for joining our webinar. We hope that you found it interesting. Building technical capacity is one of the key things that came up when we did our research on some of the barriers to developing inclusive insurance. So we hope that through today we've inspired you with some ideas of, some of the things that we're doing at the ILO, but also some of the things that we've seen leading insurers like APA do, and also like what MEB's doing in Colombia with Fasecolda. I'd also like to take the opportunity to say that we have already organized our 4th webinar. So we always like to take the opportunity at the end of each webinar to tell you about the next one. So the next webinar is going to be on leveraging regulations and public-private partnerships. And we have a fantastic panel of 4 speakers lined up for you. So we have Carlos Bosterli, who is CEO from Micro. We have Andrea Camargo from World Food Programme, Elias Omondi from FSD Africa, and my colleague Pranav Prashad from the ILO. This session is going to be moderated by Nicholas. It should be a really good session. So please feel free to look at this QR code, get your phone out and register for this next session. We will be sharing the recording of these slides. I see a comment from Azza. Apologies if the earlier ones haven't been shared. We are actually putting all of these recordings onto the ILO website, and I think the Microinsurance website as well. So if for whatever reason you don't receive an email, you can go onto our website and find them, or please feel free just to email me and I can send you the link. But yeah, all that remains for me to say is thank you again for joining. Sarah, I don't know if there's any final comments from you.
No comments from my side, just to thank you to our speakers, to the participants, and yeah, please join the next webinar.
Great. So thank you, everyone, and have a great day, evening, wherever you are, and we'll see you for the next one on the 27th of August.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for having us.
Thank
you.
Bye-bye.
Good day,
Bye.
good night, good evening. Bye-bye.